Without any further ado, I'd like to have Coach Mike McCarthy from the Green Bay Packers.
Thank you. I appreciate that. As far as youth and energy being instilled in the Green Bay Packers, I don't feel very young right now. And I got a lot of energy, though, because I've been in the bathroom about 4 times since I've been here, all the coffee I drank. But I just want to thank you, first of all, for the opportunity to come here and speak today. Because it wasn't long ago that I was sitting in one of those chairs myself. And I know Jeff, if you had a chance to listen to Jeff Jagodzinski speak if you were here, how passionate he is about, Wisconsin football. And originally, when I agreed to do this this clinic, the idea was so Jeff and our defensive coordinator, Bob Sanders, can stay up in Green Bay and work. And it was really important for him to be here today. So, and it actually was a very productive time for us because we had 5 hours alone in the car. Well, we got 2.5 down, 2.5 going back. So we were able to get some work done as far as conversations. So, and it was also good. I'm glad I was here today because that play he just put in, 18-4, we're calling a 98 strike in Green Bay. I got to follow my offensive coordinator around the state so he don't change the damn offense on me. So I got to keep an eye on him. But hey, as I had a chance to think about this clinic today, I wanted to make sure I had the opportunity to maybe give you something that you could take back with you. I recall I'm from my hometown is Pittsburgh, and they have a big clinic back here, the Pete Imperio clinics, and it was very similar to this format. And I can remember a prominent offensive coordinator in the National Football League was getting ready to speak, and I was a graduate assistant at University of Pittsburgh, and I went out there, sat in the front row, had my tablet done, and could not wait to hear this guy speak. And after about an hour and a half, his opening statement was KISS, keep it simple, stupid. And I thought, that's good stuff. I'm going to write that down. And at the end of his speech, that's the only thing I had on my tablet. So I'm not going to tell you some stories. I'm going to talk about quarterback fundamentals. And as I have had the opportunity, I am not a quarterback. I know I look like a former quarterback, and that is true, it is accurate. I was watching Jeff put his on. I was going to make a foolish joke about him, but I guess I can't say anything now. Plus, of all the foolish guys I met this morning, I really thought about not saying foolish joke. But what I want to talk to you today about is quarterback play. I've had the opportunity to work with quarterbacks 14 years in the National Football League. I've had an opportunity to learn from the best. And my feeling is the quarterback position is the most fundamentally neglected position in football. And really, at the pro level, if we're talking about fundamentals of a guy's throwing motion, there's a good chance we got the wrong guy at the NFL level. But it's important from an evaluation standpoint. You can improve people's fundamentals at any level. And I have a format that I've established. I've used it at least over the last 6 or 7 years. I use it in evaluation of college players. I use it in our quarterback school. We just went through it, Jeff and I, last week with Aaron Rodgers and our group up there in Green Bay. But it's an identification of quarterback throwing motion. Is something that I truly believe in. It's something we work on all the time, particularly in the offseason, because ball accuracy is obviously critical. And a lot of people, quite frankly, just can't sit down and explain how to improve, how to correct, something that is wrong within a guy's throwing motion. So with that, I'm going to take you through this outline here. Nice title page here. All right, first thing here, footwork. When you develop a quarterback's footwork, okay, I'm going to talk about footwork fundamentals and throwing fundamentals, okay? You always start with the 5 and a hitch footwork. There's three areas of a drop. The most important thing for a quarterback in the passing game, drop back passing game, is to get away from the center, okay? So the 3 stages of a drop are get away from center. At some point, your body has to come under control. Because if you're coaching the hell out of the getaway, you got to coach him on his feet to get him under control. Because you don't want bad habits where the front shoulder comes up. So you got to get away from center, your body comes under control, and then at some point you got to get back to your landmark that the protection unit is establishing for you to throw the ball. Everything we do on offense is about making the quarterback successful for the Green Bay Packers. That's something I learned at a young age in the West Coast offense. That's something I truly believe in. Because when push comes to shove, the quarterback's got to play.
You know, we're going to run 98 strike. We'll get that cleared up on the way home. But when push comes to shove, when the game's on the line, the quarterback's going to make the plays. So with that, everything we do is designed about make the quarterback. I'm talking about protection schemes, everything. Implementation of 2-minute offense goes right into our base day one offense, things like that. So with that, same approach goes to footwork. So when you're getting away from center, the first 2 steps, I'm just going to go through this outline. I'll show you some film, better what I'm talking about. The punch step, okay? That's identification of your first step away from center. Some guys teach a staggered stance, okay? The way I learned it was you had the punch step, your hands come up, your ass goes down, and the punch step. It all happens at once, okay? Because particularly as you increase, and it may be even on high school if I don't know, the defensive players are looking for movement under center, okay? They're looking for movement under center. So if you got guys that are twitching their hands, bad habit. You got guys that are knocking their knees, bad habit, all right? A balanced stance for quarterback play is no different than you're teaching your linemen, no different you're teaching the linebackers. His body's got to come alive at once. You got to put the player's body in position to do that. Okay, the punch step is the starting point of the movement of the quarterback away from center. Okay, so your punch doesn't really even start. So you got punch, reach. Okay, what you're trying to establish in your reach and your crossover steps. Those are the first 2 steps of a 5-step drop. You want to get as much green grass as possible. And the thing you look for when you're teaching, what we'll do is we'll start off with the quarterbacks, punch, reach. You got to teach them to open up that hip. Right-handed quarterback, I'm talking about the right hip. You'll see right away, and I'll show you on the film more what I'm talking about. Guys with tight hips, work on a line. Okay, you're working everything on the line. Guys with tight hips, the right leg will wrap right around the line. That's not what you want. Okay, that foot strike should be about 6 inches past the line. Okay, so your punch, reach, get them out of there. I tell the quarterbacks all the time, do all your work at the front end of your drop. Okay, all the work at the front end of your drop. Because at the end of it, you want to be high in the pocket with great vision, enough separation so you can step up into your landmark and throw the football. Okay, so the punch reach is very important. The punch reach crossover. So big thing when you're training quarterbacks, you go out to the first day, stretch the hell out of their groins. There's not first year in the league, 1993, Mark Vlasic, Iowa Hawkeye, you remember the name. Another Pittsburgh quarterback, I might add too. Okay, that's Pittsburgh guys, but they'll throw that in there. Easy jacks. Okay, so with that, he comes out first day, 4-guy quarterback. Mark's a great guy. He's in the league about 6 or 7 years. Pulls his groin. Because what happens is you start working on his footwork, and this is critical coaching point for young quarterbacks. You go out there, the guys haven't done anything in a couple months. You go out there day one, they do 55, 60 drops. Okay, you got to stretch their groins. 2 reasons. Get them away from center, get distance, and secondly, when you're training footwork, the groin is going to tighten up. So that's a key coaching point there. So the first 2 steps classify the getaway. Okay, the third step is called the control step. Simply meaning your body has to come under control. And something I've always taught is on a control step, you got to teach a heel strike. Okay, if your body's going back, you want that shoulder line always level. Extend that third step because you're still what? You're trying to get away from center. Okay? Don't let them on their toes. If they're on their toes, the weight's going that way. Teach them the heel strike on the third step. The step will be longer, you get a little more green grass, and it brings your body under control. Okay? So the third step, go ahead. Just get done. The third step is a control step. Teach the heel strike. And I'll show you some examples of that. We may not have examples of that because these are new guys. All right, so you got control step. That's where the weight starts to transfer. Heel to toe on the third step. Okay? Okay, now the get back. Okay, the fourth step, and another key thing you're looking for when a guy drops. If he's too heavy on his third step, he won't even use his fourth step because his weight distribution is too heavy. Okay? Get him to dig. If it's a right-handed quarterback, he's got to dig off that third step. He's got to, you can't even see my feet. He's got to dig with that left foot. Okay? Use the fourth step. And then the fifth step is the plant. Okay? So that's the identification of 5-step drop. I'll go a little quicker when we get to the film. Okay. All right, now the finish. Okay, I'm just going to go through identification. A target step is when you come off your fifth step, you go 5-5, 5-4, 5-5. Target step length. Okay, you hear the term overstride. That's when you come off. Your target step is the foot, your front foot, pointing to your target. You've got to look at the length of that step. And you got to stop overstrides. Okay, you're sure I'll get into that in a minute too. Target step with weight distribution. You can see a lot of bad habits because obviously in throwing a football, you've got shoulder and hip rotation. You can learn a lot about a guy's weight distribution on his target step to help correct it. There's been a number of them. Two things you look for. A guy whose front foot opens too much to the left, his shoulder and hip rotation is coming across his foot. Okay? A lot of similarities to a bell swing. I can't go forth the shit, but if you do, apply it. All right? So with that, if you close it, then you can't come across. So those are two things you look for. When a guy comes over top of his front step, the target step, the distribution should be clean. It should be clean into his motion. Rhythm and motion is critical to throwing a football accurate. Okay, so the weight distribution is another thing you can help a young guy fix. Okay, there's some things you can fix on a guy. There's some things that just take forever. I had a guy in the recent past, the worst fundamentally guy I've ever been around, and when I went through this outline, he had 10 points of correction. So we said we're going to fix 5 this year, and we didn't get that done. I also had a guy that's playing in Carolina right now that was very similar, and he fixed his, and he's a very successful quarterback. But it ain't because of his throwing motion or problem. But you can improve guys' throwing motion at any level. It's critical for you guys to get it at your level, because that's when they need it. That's when they need it. But I'm making a big point on the target weight distribution, because that's something you can really identify with a guy. And the fact is, if you don't have access to filmers, you just sit there and watch a guy. Those are the things you look for. Okay, hips and shoulder rotation. You're looking for rhythm, nothing herky-jerky. You're looking for the coordination of the hips and shoulders coming through the target line. Okay. Okay, footwork. Depth of drop. All right? Depth of drop. 5 steps, traditionally, you're looking for a 7-yard landmark. Okay, big 7-9 steps. When you're training a guy, if you want 7 in the game, you better get 8 in practice. I can tell you that right now. And the biggest thing with that is get it on the first 2 steps. That's where guys, if you look at guys that are short, they're either tight-hipped in their depth of drop, or they're just cruising out behind the center. And what happens there? Center steps on his foot, the guard hits the ball, you got all kinds of stuff. That's bad fundamentals. That is bad fundamentals. Now you don't want your center drop stepping, but when stuff like that happens, that's poor fundamentals. And it happens in our league. All right? Fundamentals is something that lacks in football. The NFL in a lot of areas is a bad tackling league right now. That's something we talk about as coaches. That has to improve. It's no different than quarterback play. Okay? This ain't working over there. All right, ball carriage. I'm sure you go to clinics. I learned it one way and always done it, and now I've had a chance of people ask me, why do you teach the ball carriage that way? I know even more now why I do it. I used to just say, that's the way Jim Montana did it. But that's not a good answer. Okay? That's not a good answer. Ball carriage, you want the height of the ball, between the nipples, right here. And you want it 2 hands on the ball all the time. I'm not a believer in this. Okay? I understand why they teach this, because it gets you your point of release quickly. And that's great. But once again, throwing a football involves you got to generate power. You got to generate movement from the left side of your body if you're right-handed quarterback. It's no different than throwing a punch. If I'm throwing a punch, I can stand there like this when I throw a punch. You want to be relaxed. Same thing with throwing a football. I'm not into tightening up the muscles here. That's an unnatural. That's unnatural. Okay? The ball should be right here. Right here. Because there's 2 ways of playing quarterback. Obviously in the pocket and out of the pocket. In the National Football League, there will be 5.8. It comes out 5 something, sometimes 6 times a game. 6 times a game. I've charted now since I've been in the league that the quarterback has to come out of the pocket and make a play. So everything we do in training quarterbacks, and it starts at quarterback school, is we train them in the pocket and out of the pocket, okay? So the ball, if you want a guy to move around, that is probably not, in my opinion, the best way to have him move around. But he's a lot more natural moving around with the ball right here. Okay, not down here, up here. Okay, up here. But keep it natural. Keep the elbows in. You don't want this here. Okay, you want this natural movement. That's what we're talking about ball carriage. Height of it, body frame, 2 hands on the ball. Okay, very important coaching point there. Okay, when I talked about the draw, you have the ball carriage, the draw of the football. Okay, where you draw the ball back. That's what we're referring to there. Okay, the ball carriage is nice and loose here. You want the draw. You don't want to drop in your draw. Okay? Rich Gannon, great quarterback. Big drop in his draw. All right? You want to bring it back. Because once again, the theory behind this is to get the ball to the point of release as quick as possible. That's where you coach the draw. Get the ball to your natural point of release. Everybody's a little different in their throwing motion. But that's something that you can improve. You look at the course. I always get this group, was it supination? Yep. Thank you. All right? Supination of the ball. Okay, that's not good. You'll see, guys. You want the ball. You want the wrist to be open and flexed and natural. Supination. You're exposing the ball to wide rushers. You're creating a longer delivery. Break it now. Break it now. Very important. Angle to the high point of axis. Something we all learn in young. When you're looking at the film, I'm going to show you a film. We take the quarterback, state one, get the film about 10 feet high. We're a little too high in this film here in Green Bay. Shoot him one time from behind, one time where he throws into the camera, one time from the side, where you can see, and I'll show you on film, one time to the left 45, one time to the right 45. Because that's how you break down. But the point of the axis, when the guy's throwing motion comes through, that's what you're looking for. Okay? You want about a 45-degree angle. You got to see, these are things you can watch a guy throw, and you can help him stand behind him. Okay? If he's at that angle, he's got that much room for error. Now, obviously, you don't want to throw over the top with a football, but with that, you also can see where the hand comes. You know, another thing you look for on film, guys, when he's watching, if he's here. If they're up in here, you're what? You got too much rotation. You got too much. You got bigger room for error. Now, you go through history, some of your sideline quarterbacks are some of the most accurate guys you've ever been, but they're what? They're touch throws. Okay, you got the elbow underneath the ball, you have a tendency for the ball to take off. Not good in this part of the country. Okay, not good in this part of the country. So my point is, when you talk about angle to the high point on the axis, that's the axis I'm talking about. You want to be here. You don't want to be over here, because now your room for error in your throwing motion is bigger. Okay, so these are all coaching points that we use. And okay, front shoulder. Okay. Now, I've had a problem here. You're telling the guy to get away from center. What's natural? His front shoulders pops up. Bad news, okay? Because when you come back, you want your front shoulder line discipline to be level, okay? Because when you're throwing a football, what I tell them all the time is throw downhill. Once you're throwing downhill, because when you come off that back foot, you want that front shoulder down, you want your elbow in, okay? You want the elbow in. The guy, I'll tell you what, the guy that said point to your target ought to be shot. I hope he's not famous, but he should be shot. That is not good, okay? It's no different than throwing a punch. You don't throw a punch from out here, your power is in tight. Same thing here. You want that elbow tight, okay? You want the shoulder line level. You don't want the front shoulder up. A lot of problems happen with that. Okay? You've had bad experiences with people with that. The pull. I'm talking about the pull. That is the power generated on your left side of your body, okay? The hand should never go above your shoulder line. Okay? Your pull should be tight. You go look at Elway, you look at Favre, you look at guys that can get the ball. You look at the power on their left side, their hips and shoulders, it starts with the pull. It starts with the pull. And it ain't out here. You're not pointing to the target. It is bang. It disappears. The front shoulder is down. Down. It's on target line. They're coming right over the top. Okay? We're coming. You know what I'm talking about. Hips and shoulders coming through. Okay? So left hand, right hand, the elbow tightness, that's where all the power comes in throwing in football. Okay, point of release. Another thing you can watch as you watch on film. Okay, they use it all the time. It's been a pretty good indicator for me for accuracy. Like, because when you get college film, you get all different types of film. I'm sure you guys have the same problem. You may have the guy that takes a film on top of the van. You may have the guy, you just get different, you get all different types. The thing you can find on film is, a lot of times you look for that elbow flexibility. Okay, elbow, arm flexibility, shoulder flexibility. Excellent, excellent drills to do with your quarterbacks. Very important. It helps their accuracy. Okay? Because as we all know, you throw the ball 25 times a game, 4 or 5 times you get to stand in there and throw the football. You got to throw the ball from different angles. Okay, you got holes to throw through. You got touch throws. So looseness, loose elbow. I always look for guys that can get their elbow almost pointed to the target. Okay, elbow flexibility, target line angle too. Okay, that's what target line angle is what I'm talking about right there. Okay, I mean obviously you don't want to be here, but you want to be about right here. If you got a guy, young guy, he's out here. Get him up here. Get him up here. Okay, follow through. As you get into drill work on lines. Work on lines. Drop back on lines. Throw the ball on lines. We have the quarterbacks warm up every day. They play a simple game. They're gonna put the ball in the face mask of the guy they're throwing to. It's a point game. Okay? And as you know, they have fun with it. But they're on a line, they're working on a line, they're stepping, they're working on their target step, hips and shoulder rotation, and follow through. Something I make them all the time is, their hips and shoulders. That's your rhythm, everything. But when a guy's really bringing his hips and shoulders, his back foot will come off. It's not bad for training. It's good for training. And you can see when guys really got to drive a football, they're coming off on top of that target step, and that back foot comes off the ground. That tells you they're getting their hips and shoulders through the throw. Okay, that's another good indicator. Getting their hips and shoulders through the throw. Okay? Why don't you rewind that back there? I think there's one more slide after that. And then basically, it's a good format. I wish I should have put it on the other screen. I have it in like a textbook format, but they wanted to put it on VHS there. But then what you do is you go through every one of those points released. You take the film I'm about to show you. Just take the 5. It's a very simple process. You take 5. I make them do it 5 times. Drop back, throw the football into the camera. Drop back, throw the football away from the camera. 5 times from the side. And then what they do is, and it's ugly. Okay, I'm going to show you 2 guys the first time they ever did it. It is ugly. Then you take them and coach them. And then they see the improvement. Our guys are already seeing improvement after 2 weeks. But to get them there must improvement because, once again, particularly at a higher level, you can't go out and say, man, you're screwed up. You got 11 points of fundamental work we got to get done. That's not realistic. All right? The things that really matter, there are major corrections and then there are minor corrections. Pick the major ones. Okay, pick the major ones. Target step is a big one. Okay? Rhythm and stroke. That's what you're looking for. If a guy has a lot of rhythm in his body, the same stroke all the time, you got a chance. You got a chance to be accurate. You got a very good chance of being accurate. So that's something we look for. Let me show you a film here, and maybe some of this make a little more sense here. All right, this was Aaron's first time down, going through the format. Now, you see right there. Okay, look at the punch. See the punch step? You see a little tightness in his hips? See the right foot, how far across he is? That's something we'll fix here. It's an easy fix. Okay? Look, okay, he can get more in his crossover. Watch his third step. He's up on his toes. You see how heavy he is at the back end? Good mechanics. You see, we talk about target line. Watch the way the ball tracks. You can watch the way the ball, they're not worse than they see him come back and say, hey, this guy's throwing curve ball. I've coached guys like that. That's because their hips and shoulders are so left to right, their target step is so wide open, they're thrown across their body. Okay? Obviously you don't want that. But that's just, I'm just going to let this run. But you want to, we're actually too high here. You want to shoot 1 time behind, 1 time into it. Okay? Watch the target line. You want to go once to the right, and then we didn't do it to the left that day, but then you want to go once from the side. You can get a lot out of this film here. Well, that's his natural, that's what we didn't say anything to him, okay? But, I mean, when he came out of college, it was a lot higher. But I'll say this about it. It's comfortable. It's not stressed, okay? It needs to be relaxed. That's the most important thing. But you can get your depth here. You can see his target, his follow through on his target step. That's a back shot. Then just last year, same kind of guy, just come out of college. Here's his first time doing it. This is the height of the film you'd rather have. This is about 12 feet. I apologize about this. You look at the punch step right there. See how tight hipped he is. He's a real athletic guy too. A lot like Aaron. Just they've never been taught. See, he's off the midline. There's no heel to toe. And part of it too is they're trying to be measured. See the ball tracking. See the point of the elbow. This is a better angle that the coach offered as far as the film. See what I'm talking about, the point of axis? Watch his right elbow come through. That's what you're looking for. See now? Let's stop this. This guy here he blocks his heel out a lot. Okay? He blocks his target step. Need an opening. You see his weight distribution, it's always jagged. See it here. Watch his front foot. See how when his foot hits that? You see how when his foot hits, then it resets? His foot hits and resets. It should be one even distribution. Your foot should come down, your hips and shoulders should come right over top. But his point of release is excellent. Too far off the midline, no dig. And watch, he'll go 4 or 5. He's got a bad habit of, well, I'll show you here.
What did you say, you're going to teach the snagger on the stands?
You know what I ended up doing was, if the guy already had that in his training, I would let it go. Because some guys are more comfortable, they feel like they're already out. I never used to teach it, but about 6 years ago I had a guy that was comfortable doing it. Once you can still go half stagger and still get your punch. The punch is what starts everything. Okay? Your hands, it starts out. But as far as the height of the film, you want to be about 10 feet and have them cue in there real tight. But here's a stop right there. Okay, now he had a number of bad habits. You see his left elbow coming up above his real high here. You don't want that. Okay. Now you watch him at the end of the year. He's got the front shoulder down. You pick that left arm up on your pull, you're creating a lot of bad habits. Your delivery's longer. Okay. You're taking power away from your throat. Okay. And also you don't have your front shoulder down. And what he does is he has excellent follow through, so he overcomes the bad habit of the pull. All right, well, that was as clean as I like. Okay, this is an old tape. I'm just going to let this run and talk you through it. Quarterback drills. Make it applicable to what you believe in. This is an old one. I haven't updated it. I don't have the Saints and the Niners, 49ers, but this is an old. You'll see some familiar faces. Everything you do, footwork. We make our quarterbacks 8% body fat or lower. Okay, it's a movement game these days. Okay, we start with jump ropes a lot. All right, we just do a warm-up. Just warm them up, Elvis Gerback, Michigan University of Michigan. Just warm them up. These are all basic drills. There's nothing like, whoa, that's unbelievable jump rope drill. Nothing, just basic stuff that you do, okay? Just work on your right foot, work on your left foot. Because everything we do, there's drills in here, they're all pliable to the drop of the quarterback and movement of the quarterback. So you make them warm up to the left foot, right foot. This is just a film to show the guys when they're getting ready to go through for the first day quarterback score. So Steve Matthews, I don't remember that guy. He shattered his leg on a quarterback sneak. He went over the top, he came back, he broke it. He was never supposed to play football again. We had him on IR down there for 2 years. Boxer shuffle, so just some of the basic jump ropes. So we did a lot of footwork drills, okay? Side to side movement, do a lot of movement drills. And what we do is we make it competitive. Like we'll take this right here, we'll go as many as you can in 20 seconds. You know, or you got to do 20 of them for time. And you know, the quarterback that I've had up to, where they're the most competitive group on your team. It's amazing how wild they go just to win a 4-screw drill, okay, or some of these ball drills that I'll show you. There's Rich Gannon there. You guys remember Rich? But as far as the movement part of it, you can't coach it enough. And I can't stress that enough. 6 times a game, he's going to have to come out of that pocket and make a play. And we talk a lot about escaping from the pocket, particularly a right-handed quarterback. When you escape to your left, first 3 steps is called the dead zone. Because when you're moving left, you're right-handed quarterback. Okay, I mean, you're in a dead area. Okay, you're in a dead area. There's Montana. There's the over and back. That's for the transfer in your weight. Okay. Little Packer Hasselback. You know, you do this for time, for 10 seconds, they compete. The box drill, this is part of your lead step. Training in the lead step. I've been told that guy keeping time looks like a porn star. I don't agree with it. This is all part of that punch step, getting that foot out of there. You know, you guys, you've seen these drills 100 times with basketballs. Same deal. Just start off with a warm up. Guys have a good time with this, particularly when they get embarrassed the first time through. Just have warm up, round their head, round their waist, round their ankles, figure 8, round the right leg, round the left leg, and then we compete and do it for time. Then just take 10 seconds. That's a pretty good one right there, and I'll let you know it here at the end. So, left leg. Do as many as you can in 10 seconds. We keep track. I got statistics for the last 14 years, and it's funny to see the guys now, young guys, you know, trying to beat, you know, Rich Gannon or Todd Bowman, and you know, Aaron Brooks and Jake Delone, guys that have done this in the past. They're not trying to beat their scores. So it's just another way of being competitive. Figure 8, this is a good drill. And this is something we'll do all through the spring, all through training camp. Quarterback handles the ball every down, okay, every down. Guys with small hands, this helps them out a lot. Okay, bag scramble drill. Once again, this is another movement drill here. 1 foot in the hole. You know, every position of football is using the bags. Take a 5-step drop. Slow this down here. Matt had a little more training here. You can see Matt. Punch, reach, see the control step. I was trying to see the 3rd step there. He did a really good job. He was a joy to work with. Watch the heel to toe, I'm talking about right here. See the crossover? Watch the heel to toe. See his front shoulder? See how long the step is? So you can take a long 3rd step if you heel strike. Now see how his body's downhill? It comes off his plant foot? That's what you're looking for. You want a guy, like he's coming off the pitcher mound, throwing downhill. That's a good picture of it right there. 1 time through the bag. I'm always talking about their hips and shoulders into the throw. Now, I've been to clinics where guys say, okay, now when you run to your left, you throw off your left foot. You run to your left, I've also gone to clinic guys say, when you run to your left, throw off your right foot. What I tell them is, when you run to your left, you better worry about the son of a bitch behind you. You better get the ball out. Okay? And that's important from training. So when they run their left, he throws it off his left foot. I tell him next time, throw it off your right foot. So I don't know what you guys believe in, but don't get caught up in that. If they're running to their left, they better get the hell out of the way and get their hips and shoulders around. Make them train throwing it off your left foot and their right foot away from their throwing arm. That's important. Because there's nothing worse than a guy comes out in the game, he has to make that throw, and the guy's wide open, he misses it. You got to train him for it. Okay, same drill to the right, one in the hole. You see it? That's not a good job right there. Okay, there's some bad ones on it. This was kind of used as a warm-up in the old days. We kind of evolved this. Now, a lot of these drills, we've kind of taken them to another level too. Just like you would in any other position. I mean, make it creative to what you're doing schematically. But you want to, the reason for the cones as you come out of the drill is to make them dip and get their hips and shoulders around so they're throwing downhill to the sideline. Throwing downhill. Big coaching point there. Okay, this redirect drill, this is kind of old and this is kind of grown over the years. This is a really good drill. People talk about pocket awareness. Well, hell, how do you teach it? You know, we teach them to hitch up and throw, slide to the right and throw. Yeah, a little more like, yeah, it was hard to find one to get far on here. But as far as the slide drill, what we do now is we build a pocket with 5 dummies. And we make them take a 5-step drop. We tell them, you take a legitimate 5-step drop. If I don't say anything, you hitch and throw it to the guy right over the middle. Because what happens is in drill work, they're back here waiting for you to give you the redirect sign. But what you do is get him going, because tell him if he hits on his 3rd step, he's going to push off that 3rd step a full gap and get the ball out. It's no different in the game. He's going to be able to slide left and right. He's going to be able to hitch up and then get out of the pocket. The worst drill you could ever do in scramble drills is have a guy go back 5, and then just wheel out of the pocket. It doesn't happen that way in the game. The defensive end's got contained. Make them hitch up in the pocket, then out. That's why I was talking about the dead zone. When they hitch up in the pocket, then out. Now, there's a picture there. Now, we'll tell them, hey, this guy gets beat inside, you got to go right now. So we do it. Every imaginable situation out of that pocket drill that you can think of. Make it game-like. That's why you have drills. But when you're teaching to your left, you really got to talk about the dead zone right there. That's the guy that got caught in the dead zone. Get the ball out. Throwaways are okay. Throwaways are okay. Sacks are not. Okay? We had a guy that would take a lot of sacks. You just take them out there, and you can see some of that film. That's in the middle of the season. And the guy I used to work for, and when something went wrong, he said, get their ass out there after practice Wednesday and Thursday in season and drill it. And we had a young guy he was supposed to try to make him jump over the bag. That's not a good picture there. That's not what you're looking for right there. You want to dip and roll. You want the hips. When you're vacating to your left, don't go flat. Teach them to get their hips, get away from it. Because when a guy goes to the opposite side, I've said it 3 times now, it's a dead zone. Then if you got a guy that doesn't know how to put the button up, they hate this drill. Okay, this will really piss them off. You got a quarterback that takes hits on the sideline, make him go out and do that on Wednesday in front of all his teammates. Okay, that's exactly what that was right there. Running down the sideline, all cool and get whacked. All right, get out of bounds. Get out of bounds. So, I mean, there's all different. You got some bad slides too. Get a big bag. Make sure you get a big bag. This guy here's pissed off because it wasn't him that did it. He can't believe he had to do the drill. That's good though. That's keep him going. This is an old drill. We haven't done this in a while. Then there's a net drill. You know, Jeff talked about the keeps on the 18 force play, but the keep, we work keeps all the time. All right, big coaching point on keeps is speed, depth, and control. Get as much depth as you can. Some guys want to cut that thing off because they think I got to throw it 5 yards first. Well, if your guy's worried about throwing the ball 5 yards further, then we got the wrong guy playing quarterback. Okay? Get him away from that contained defender. Okay? That's a great picture. I'm going to show you. This happened by accident. This wasn't by design. But this net drill, everybody has them, red, white, and blue. And what we do is when they come out of there, you give them a number right before they hit the hash mark. And then tell them red, white, and blue. And then they make, he doesn't know where he's hitting, but he's coming out of there, get as much depth as he can, getting away from the contained defender. But the key is when you go from the redirection drill to the net drill, you got to move the dummies. Because if you don't, that's what happens. I go by it right? Oh, here it is. Yeah, you got to move the dummies because this is what happens to them right there. They run right in. Hey, any questions about quarterback play? I wish I had a little better film to show you because there's a lot of good shots, particularly guys not doing it right. It's great. The best film you'll find out when you train these quarterbacks on 5-step drop is the first film you take them. Because there's a ton of bad habits. A ton of bad habits. You just stay the course. And the most important thing is don't get too technical about it because you don't want to make them robots. But the most important thing about quarterback play is that they have rhythm and consistency in their stroke and that they're throwing downhill. If you accomplish that, then you're on course for an active quarterback, particularly at a young age. Because we coach the hell out of it in the NFL, and it needs to be corrected early. I'm not defaming anybody, but it's amazing how much bad fundamentals you see at the college and professional level. So, I mean, it's going to be great to get a start at these young guys. Any questions about quarterback play?
Yeah, what part of the mechanics would you not mess with, or would you tend to not mess with? Well,
you got to be sensitive. You got to be sensitive on throwing motions. And I have not been particularly, but I know there are people who think. I mean, if you take the guy number 1 in the draft, then you're going to change his throwing motion. The owner's like, I just gave that guy a $25 million check. There's something wrong, so you better do it. I mean, that's a whole different scenario, honestly. You got to make it natural. Every kid's different. Everybody has, everybody wants the ball thrown like Dan or Joe, and I have Montana tape that still today is the best tape to use because he was so fundamentally sound. He was a very athletic guy. And one point I didn't make is every guy's body type's different. Okay, you got guys that are higher cut. Okay, they're going to be a little different on their punch reach step. Right? You got to watch their target step because it may be a little longer, but they're also probably a lot more athletic to be able to get their to keep their back foot underneath their hip and get over top of the target step like that. So you got to be aware of body types too. Body types is a key coaching point. But the most important thing, particularly at a young age, is just make sure that you're consistent with the point of release. You don't want to be down here. Okay, just look for things like this. That's not good. That's better. Just throw motion. Make sure it's the same all the time. When a guy's throwing on the line, and tell them quarterbacks when they're throwing a football, just watch the way the ball travels. That tells you a lot. And I guess I must have missed one of the slides here, when we talk about the follow through. Okay, loose elbow, spin of the fingers. Okay, bringing the index finger through. Target line of the football. Have an understanding when you're running to your right that your ball rotates right to left. What's going to happen? If you're running to your left, the ball rotates right to left to your left. What's going to happen? Throw go routes, 5 and a hitch, 44 yards into a bucket. I do it all the time, the old bucket drill. You guys have seen that. Get them out there. It's not, guys want to just throw it out there, put on the money. The most important thing about the go route is the angle the ball comes in. If you're running to catch the ball, if it comes at that angle, you have given the defender a better chance of deflecting the ball. But if it comes in at this angle, the odds are better on the offense. Okay? Train the go route. Same thing when you're training the go route. You got wind up here in this part of the country or anywhere really, even if you get in the domes, the ball's going to rotate left to right. Not worse than a guy beats you down on the go route and the quarterback throws it 5 yards out of bounds. Not good. Okay? Same thing to your left. All those little things you can train the hell out of them. We'll finish up every Wednesday, Thursday practice in season, and we'll throw 10 go routes to the right, 10 go routes to the left, and go in. Because what happens a lot of times, and it happens to all of us, you work on fundamentals. You have spring ball, you go in training camp, you're feeling good, your fundamentals are intact, then you get to the season, what do? Practice plays. That's a bad habit. That's a bad habit. We'll do 15 minutes of individual all year. You got to do individual. What's the difference Jeff put in 18 force. There's other people running that play. Well, why does Atlanta, why does Denver run it better? Because they work on the same things every day. Every day. I had the opportunity to work with Alex Gibbs my first 2 years in the league. The guy is very good at what he does, and he's done it for a long time. He's out there he does the same things over and over and over again. Volume, looks good, sounds good. Doesn't win football games. Don't get caught up in plays. There's nothing worse as an offensive coordinator. A guy comes in and says, hey, did you see what Dallas ran last week? We got to put that in. You know, where the hell were you at in February, March when I was installing the offense? That's when you put it in. That's when it goes in. And I bet you 99 times out of 100, you got a play that conceptually attacks the defense the same way because you did your homework. You have a system of football. That is critical to success on offensive football. Don't get caught up in plays. I'm rambling here. You got any questions?
What about hand placement on the ball?
To me, hand size, comfort level. I mean, same thing with Clinton. With Terry Bradshaw, he had his finger on top of the ball. You know, I think the thing you got to watch against is to get too much of the ball, too far down. That's the only thing I'm ever real critical at. But once again, I've worked with older guys, so that may be not a good answer for the youth quarterbacks. I just wouldn't let them get too much down on the ball. I've never said you're too high or too low. Alex Smith was very high on the ball, and he was already supinating, right? Supinating the ball as it come out. So I moved his hand down and got his elbows in, because he was like this, you know. So I got him more here. He's the only guy whose hand I've ever moved that I personally moved on the football.
Just go back to talk a little bit about the exchange. You know, when people pulling out and getting the ball, that's something.
Exchange?
Quarterback, you know.
I always talk about seeing the ball. The ball should always come to the belly button.
I mean,
Doesn't come up?
stepping away, whatever, you know, make sure
Yeah. First of all, it comes in your stance. Don't let them get too wide. I mean, just, you know, you want a good shoulder length stance. If you have a center problem, we had one a few years back. The center was light, getting up in age, didn't have a lot of leg strength. So he you know, smart guy though. He was dipping more than usual on his own scheme blocks or anything away. Any wide 8-9-hole play is when it happens. We train the quarterbacks on any wide play that, you know, they know the plays. They call it 18, 19 force. Go ride the center a little more, but they got to be cautious with the back foot. Okay, that's really where the stagger step helps you, because you're going to get one out of the way. As far as the run game, pressure step. We've gone to all reverse footwork in the run game because of that matter. Because I'm of the opinion, after going through a year and year, the reverse footwork gets you the hell out of it. You can put your pressure on one step, and you get it and go. You know, get it and go. So does that answer your question? But the biggest thing is don't let them get too wide, and coach them centers to drop stuff too much. But, you know, it's hard too. You got a gap player, and he's got to reach them. You know, educating the quarterback on run schemes is not bad either. Okay, I don't know what we're going to call this or Jeff's lines calls, but we had a rip and list call. Anytime the quarterback heard that, he knew that center was going hard right or hard left. That was one line call that he had to know in the run game. All right, that was kind of alert for him.
What would you recommend with a young player that has a hitch in his throwing motion?
I'm sorry?
A young player, like an 8th grader or freshman that has a hitch in his throwing motion.
Talk about here?
No, it would come down to his waist and then come up and drill. How would you approach that?
I'd put him on the line and just make him step and throw. And coach the ball carriers to the draw to the point of release, using all the points I just said. You know, I am huge on just sticking a guy, Cody Pickett, kid in San Francisco, phenomenal athlete, one of the best athletes I've ever coached. Mechanics, he's got some problems. We would stand on the line and warm up when he would coach, he would with the other quarterback, and I would just keep coaching the whole time. And this is a very good point. Coach the hell out of the fundamentals when you're standing there playing catch. You know, talking about the draw, the pull, the point of release, all that, the hips coming through, the back foot off the line, the coordination of the hips and shoulders, target line, ball tracking. And then as soon as that whistle blows and you go to a competitive drill, you tell him, forget about fundamentals. Because what's going to happen to you, I had Billy Joe Tolliver in Kansas City. He'd been in the league 10 years. And he's like, man, this footwork stuff, this is good stuff, man. I've never had this stuff. So we're in a 7-on-7 drill. Clear as day. He's got a guy wide open on the post. Bang, misses it. I go, man, I said, Billy, what happened? He said, I was too heavy on my fifth step. I said, fifth step, that was wide open. Careful on your head. Yeah, you know. So that was actually a good lesson for me. I was overcoaching again, you know. He's got a guy wide open for about how his weight distribution on his fifth step. Once there becomes a guy moving target on it, fundamentals are out the window. What I found is if you just keep coaching them, it's a lot of one-on-one time. Just like anything we do, any other position, you stay after it, the best that shows up in the competitive field. But you got to tell them, don't worry about your feet, you're competing. We can bring Jags up here and go through some more zone blocking. All right.
Coach, what do you think of the top 3 quarterbacks in the draft?
If we were picking 25, I'd answer that question. We're picking 5. They're all very talented. They're all distinctly different. I think the kid at Texas obviously is a special athlete. You know, I think Ted Thompson had a great analogy. The reason why we spent so much time on him. You know, he could be the Michael Jordan, Sam Bowie, analogy of is he the next Michael Jordan? You know, do you pass on a quarterback because you don't need one because you've got a young guy to get it for. So I was at his workout. He's an exceptional athlete. He's a sidearm guy. You know, huh? I think it depends on how big his bonus is. Yeah, that's but the kid didn't miss a thing. You know, he's got a lot of good rhythm, a lot of natural ability. He didn't miss a throw in his workout. You watch him on film, he makes good decisions. I was actually pleasant. I wasn't surprised. His ball accuracy was better than I thought it was going to be. And he made all the throws. Max, his workouts tomorrow, just see Ted will be going there. He's probably the most polished guy of the group. His decision making and everything. Very good mechanically, fundamentally. And I think Cutler is probably kind of a dark horse. He's a powerful young man. He had a great workout at the combine. I think he's the guy that has probably the biggest upside as far as a pure quarterback. I think Vince is the guy that would be the great player, athlete, and Matt's a guy who probably win any system that they run in the NFL. So I think I'm 3 distinctly different. I think they're all top 10 picks, worthy of one, I should say. There, huh? That's something I learned about this job. You're going to talk your ass off and say nothing.
Coach, do you look for a running quarterback? Or is that kind of getting to a trend, or is that coming from the colleges?
I'm a fan of the running quarterback, just or not particularly a running one, a guy that can make plays, out of the pocket, because it goes back to what I said. I never really realized it until I was in Montana in Kansas City. I thought that was the first sign of a great player just starting to lose his legs a little bit. And he talked about it, And he still got out of the pocket at 36, 37 years old and made 4 or 5 plays a game. That was a real light bulb for me going off the guy that's just going to stand there. They know where he's going to be. That's not good. So as far as our protection schemes and the way we attack people in the passing game, we're very conscientious of changing the landmark of the quarterback, roles. A lot of people don't like to sprint out in the pro game. I think you have to, because the defensive lineman, the speed of the game has increased. I got into the league in '93. Used to have the 270-pound, 260-pound middle linebacker back then that just ate everything up, tackle. That no longer exists. The linebackers are all on 245. They can run like a deer because the speed of the game is really increased. So I think with that, your guy, he doesn't need to win a 40-yard dash, but he needs to be able to slide his feet, be mobile enough to make, like I said, 5 or 6 plays a game. Answer your question, yes.
What's the biggest surprise becoming a head coach in the NFL? What's something you didn't expect that kind of just caught you by surprise?
I've said this over and over again. I know people talk about the hiring process and the firing process, how tough it is. I know my experience was they fly up here in a jet. You swing by Lambeau Field. You got the hair on the back of your neck stand up. and you get to go talk to the media for 2 hours. It's a lot of fun. But, great experience, you know. You come in, you're on the highest of highs, and the next day, you got to release the coaching staff. And, I had to release 4 guys that I had worked with in the past. That was very hard. But it's also, the thing I've learned, you got to just, what's in the best interest of Green Bay Packers? I ask that question all the time before any decision I make. That was definitely hard. Second thing, probably administrative duties, because this is what you love to do. I mean, you could talk, when you put the film together, you could talk about the quarterback play for 7 hours. Those days are over. Jeff and I are looking for a pocket of time to talk about football. Jeff and I are running the offense, so the time management and administrative duties is probably the second. But those are the 2 biggest things. I would say I was surprised. It's kind of like you hear about it, but until you live it, you have a better understanding of it. So those are the 2 biggest things that stand out.
Is there a position you coach right now that you definitely want to keep doing so you don't get that detached from the field?
Well, I think you definitely got to be involved with quarterback and doing call the plays. So we're talking about that right now. Because the play caller and the quarterback need to be on the same page. You need to be on the same page to spend time. So that's if I do, that's where I'll be as far as my position. I'm also a believer too. I don't want to discredit other individuals I've been around, but I think if you're known for something, the team should reflect that. I don't want to be, I'm not put in the run and shoot you so we're good on offense. That's what I'm saying. I do know this: if you're good on defense, if you're good on special teams, you play offense the way you want. And that's not my philosophy. I know that's true. I think it's important that we are good on offense. It's more important we need to be great on defense, great on special teams.
What's the word on Javon Walker, and are there any free agent receivers that you
The theme of the day was quarterback. I just dealt with that stuff for 2 days. Man, I was start going, you look like Bob McCann a little bit. I thought he was on vacation. Nothing's changed. I mean, he's under contract with the Green Bay Packers. The Green Bay Packers treat their players better than any place I've ever been. I'm not just saying that because I'm standing here wearing this shirt, but it's a first-class organization. I think it's a situation that I obviously inherited, and we're dealing with it. Relationship building, communication. When that breaks down, you get a problem. So we're just trying to improve that.
You've got it. So change your behavior philosophy and weight training, off-season conditioning.
Yes.
Talk a little bit about that.
In the past, they've been more like an individual program, environment, from my understanding. I was here in '99 with the old program. A lot of machines, a lot of individual work. Off-season program was not stressed. They've had success that way in the past. I think the game has definitely changed. The landscape definitely has changed. When 31 other teams have to have 95 and 100% attendance in off-season program, we're at a disadvantage. And that's one of the reasons why we went to the free weights. We got nine of the big power racks, the best ones ever made, our strength coaches. Since Cleveland has 7, we got 9. We got the most in the league. See how strength coaches are. He's firing up about that. So am I. Tell me if you fit in here. I think we get 9 in here. He goes, Cleveland has 7. I said, well, I guess we got to get 9. That's fantastic. So we've gone free weights. We've removed probably 20 machines from the weight room. The sight lines are really good. It's a practice environment now. And Brock Ellison's our strength coach. Mark Levant, Brandon Johnson. Brandon's a young man from Purdue. Mark been up there. We're off to a great start there. We're over 90% our attendance. And, the guys are really into it. Everything's free weights. And, Brock is really good with the training and teaching and what the weights. And that's the direction we're going. I've said the same thing to our players. It's the foundation of our offense, the defense, and special teams, particularly up front. I think you need to play. Your identity of your football team should reflect the environment you live in. We're the Green Bay Packers. We need to be big, up, strong, get after it. Jeff wants quick linemen. We want big, strong, quick linemen. So, that's where we're at. That's an area I think we can greatly improve our football.
Coach, what are your expectations for the quarterback from the time he leaves the huddle until the ball's
Well, that's a great question. Number one, huddle command, in the huddle communication. You'd like to be at the line of scrimmage by 18 seconds. In particular, the way we've gone with a lot more run, pass options at the line of scrimmage. We get into things like when we teach our run game, we break our run game down into 4 categories. We have running runs, spotted runs, which means it doesn't matter what the defense they call, we're running. So, with that, you can get into, if you are there at 18 seconds, you can double count, you can hard count, those types of things, so everybody knows their assignment. Then we get into what's called box roll runs and adjusted runs. An adjusted run is a run if we're running weak, we got too many over there, we're running over there. So there's ability to change the play. And box roll runs is we're going off the box. We're going to run it left, we got 4 count to the left, we're going to run it right, we're going to 4 count also to the right, we can throw the ball. So 18 seconds is kind of, if you go to one of our practices, you'll see a 40-second clock. It'll be set at 18 seconds every time he breaks the huddle. So that's our goal as far as time. So that every other time.
Yeah, but also, at the high school level,
Okay.
I've evolved from, I think I've learned, you talk to your quarterback, you get cover 2, here's what you're thinking in the pass game, get cover 3. Well, I put on film, and I don't know what the coverage is sometimes. I don't know what it is that the opponents are teaching. It's like some hybrid of something that I haven't seen. So I felt like early on, I've paralyzed him a little bit.
Yes.
I've asked him to, in a real short period of time, diagnose something that I don't know what it is. So we've gone from count safeties, safety alignment, corner alignment, number of people in the box. Just try to give him a short checklist. I'm curious as to what your checklist might be and cues that you can play off of.
You're talking particular passer.
More so than
When I first got into coaching the quarterback, I designed a format called quarterback format. I basically took it from the time you got the play entry, to the time the ball was snapped, to the time it's an outline of format. Basically, what I've done, because of that, I don't think you can teach. I tell our players on offense all the time, there's 3 points in football. They're either 4-man line look, there's a guard or a center cover. That's one front as far as the offense. Or it's an Okie defense, both guards are covered, or they're covered with both guards and center. They can't play any more fronts. Same thing with coverages. I tell them there's only 3 coverages in football: 2 deep shell, 3 deep shell, and empty. There's 2 types of it, man or zone. That's all they need to know. Because when we teach the passing game, the quarterback has 3 reads. When that play goes in, he knows his read falls in one of those 3 categories. It's either a pure progression read, or I'm telling him, he's number 1, he's number 2, he's number 3, period. Okay, check it down. Or you have a progression with an option. You're telling them who 1, 2, and 3 is, but they rule the coverage like 3 backer, or that makes, like they overload the coverage to that side, you've got the clean one-on-one, picture look, we refer to it as. You can go him 1, and your check downs 2. You always build a triangle for him. So progression option. And the 3rd reads a PSL, where he comes up and goes, okay, 2 deep shell, I'm working strong. 3 deep shell, I'm working away from rotation, period. And then as they advance, you get into man, now you involve matchups with 3 deep shells, things like that. So I have taken reads, because I've sat quarterback meetings, you sit there, okay, that's a front back outside read, that's an outside triangle read, that's a front back keys. You just spend more time learning reads for every plays. So I'm talking to the guy, they get that from day 1. Every pass play we have in our offense fits in those 3 reads.
Coach, your quarterbacks, do they call their own protection?
No, center makes initial declaration. Every protection we put in, and Jeff and I just went through it the other day, every protection that's put in, we tell them, here's the protection, here's the stress point of the protection. Because if there was one protection, trust me, there's a lot of guys a lot smaller than all of us, everybody would be running by now. Tell them what the protection is, here's where there's potential problems, the stress point of that protection is, here's the adjustment. So the center comes up, he declares the Mike linebacker, whatever type of protection scheme you're in, and then the center or the quarterback can make that particular adjustment if that stress point is being put under fire.
But they got to hear the protection. I mean, can they change it?
Point. Okay. I've gone away from hearing this and hearing that, especially with the noise you kind of if the center comes up, he goes there, and then the quarterback goes there. That's an adjustment. Okay, he just changed the linebacker height from there to there. There ain't no I didn't hear 52 or now you introduce it that way. When you're going through the walkthroughs, But you do it in games.
It's that, and if it happens, a lot of times we just tell the quarterback just to go like that, and that's it. Because we put more onus on our backs than most people do. Because the center, he's going to be one of your smartest guys, because he sets the whole thing, he sets the table. But the quarterback can fix it because he's got the best chair. But the quarterback ain't blocking anybody. So the only guy that can save it is a guy at 5 yards. So we train those guys. We spend a lot of time on the run backs and protection adjustments and how they fit. Every protection we put in, he has a man in an area. We're not into you got that guy. You got that guy. If not that guy, you got that area. And if you're not in your area, you're helping that guy. Everybody's fitted together. So we spend a lot of time on educating that and just take a proactive approach of attacking pressure.
Coach, I got a kid that's shorter than basically everybody on our team, but he's a real good quarterback. This last year we've had him scrambling, and I'd like to get him in the pocket. Is there some way I can set it up that we can get him some throwing lanes?
I became, when I was in New Orleans, it was my first opportunity to be a coordinator. So, West Coast offense, Bill Walsh, no shotgun, okay? So they threw my ass out of West Coast offense a long time ago. Get in the shotgun. Because A, it gives you vision. You talk about getting depth and all that, playing high in the pocket. You establish that by alignment. It eliminates most of your inside pressures. Some people, if a guy knows what they're doing, if I'm playing a team as a quarterback and third down, he's under center, I'm bringing inside pressure. Because, third down, it's going to be man-to-man, it's going to be tight. Get people in his face. So my recommendation would be shotgun and the sprints out of the shotgun. I really like the sprints out of the shotgun because, once again, the footwork's easier because you've already got the depth. Now, within your footwork training, the only thing you got to accomplish is getting the hips and shoulders turned to the primary receiver. So most of our sprints, and we call them sprints and speeds, sprint to the close side, speed to the open side, is done from the gun. So changes the launching point of the quarterback. It's a gap protection. Gives them, so that would be my recommendation. I played the whole season. You got someone special, Vince Young, put him in the gun. Don't try to put, as I say, a Ryan Peg in a square hole.
Try to run out of the gun too? Or?
Absolutely. All your one-back runs are good out of the gun. Your two-back runs are fine too. I think the gun's the way to go if you got a vision problem.
I have a question and a favor to ask of you. First, the question, what do you think, have you ever used a hill to train the quarterback for power for the back? And then you said about throwing downhill, getting that kind of that feeling. And the favor to ask is, hopefully it'll change the pass that you won't be so predictable that when we see two running backs in the backfield, we know it's a run, and when it's one back, we know it's a pass.
You want my politically correct answer on that? Well, when it was one back in the backfield, if they got more than you got, they're running, you're a dumbass. I'll just say that, okay? So, no, I've never done the speed. I've been to places that have had it, but I've never taken the quarterback on it. That's a good idea. I've never tried it, though.
What's your philosophy on audibles? You have coaches in the league that, particularly Indianapolis, that, Peyton Manning gets up there and he's constantly changing plays.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously he's been very successful at it. What's your philosophy on allowing the quarterback to, change a play?
I think it's, I'm a big believer in it. I go back to Joe, a lot of people you first encounter as you get into business. Montana played his whole career with 2 audibles. And it built, he had a sprint audible and a 3-step drop to get the ball out. The best thing, when we do our philosophy at first day, we talk about best play available. You have to have an audible package. I talked about 2-minute offense. Box full runs, we put them in day one because when a quarterback learns that if you're going to run the ball over here, there's too many over there, run over there, and they got too many all together, throw the ball, you're already training him for 2 minutes. And when push comes to shove, you got to win in 2 minutes in a football game. So, to answer your question, we're audibles from day one. It's built into our base plays.
Coach, how much critique Aaron Rodgers? What's his strength, good arm, accurate?
Just a little, I've been on the field with him for 90 minutes, but I was fortunate. I spent a lot of time with him during the NFL draft last year. I was in San Francisco. We was Alex and Smith and Aaron Rodgers. So I think Aaron Rodgers has got a tremendous upside. You know, he played 2 years at Cal Berkeley. His strength, I think, is his ball accuracy and strength, and he's a very good decision maker. If you watch him play the game, he doesn't get outside the box too often. You know, he's not out drifting and trying to hit the backside post and things like that. So that's kind of where I'm at right now. I haven't gone through a battle on him yet, but I think the kid has a very bright future. Strong arm. He's got a good strong arm on him.
We were talking about before with fundamentals and all that. Say you have a quarterback that's having success and isn't quite doing it the way you'd like. How much do you fuss with that?
If it ain't broke, don't fix it. I mean, you know, I just think if it's an adjustment that, you know, I think you got to get into that minor major thing. I mean, you know, Bernie Kosar. I mean, but God, talk about ball accuracy. I mean, he got through it as accurate as any guy in that era that he played in. So, you know, those are things I'm talking about major. I mean, you start moving a guy's point of release, that's a major adjustment. You know, I think the things that you got to really focus, the thing you can really help any quarterback, regardless of his throw motion, is from the waist on. Spend a ton of time. It's all about footwork. It doesn't matter what position you play. Your feet are the key, and that's the thing. I don't care how the guy throws the ball. His footwork is going to be the way that we do it, because it works. I've seen it work. I've done it long enough. So I change everybody's footwork, everybody I've ever worked with. So, well, number 4, I thought I was going to change his in '99. That didn't work, but he's the only one. But as far as you get into that's a major correction. You know, you get into that. That's why I think if you could have him try it too, because you know if he has a comfort level and because the bottom line is production. I mean, you know, performance. So,
We're good.
Okay, so answer your question. One more question.
I was wondering what your philosophy was on the quarterback as the ball handler.
Okay.
You know, exposing the ball rather than compared to faking and hiding.
When I first learned it, everything was shoot the ball, you know, extend. You know, you never took 2 hands off the ball. And then Steve Bono, Kansas City, big hands, and he on our full fake game, 7 steps, he'd lay that thing. You know, he'd take us and he'd lay it out there, and it was such a better fake. Talking to linebacker coaches, Marty Schottenheimer, we're talking about one day with Steve, because he seen Marty. You know, he just brought it up in a drill one day. So, to answer your question is, if a guy doesn't have the big hands, you know, if he's not a guy you really trust, keep 2 hands on the ball, and just go with always keeping the ball. You know, it's showing the hand. But if you got the guy that, you know, in particular at our level, 9 times out of 10 you do, expose that football, because that's what the defense is looking at, especially with all this Tampa 2. You know, everybody's playing defense with so much vision to the ball. You know, that's all they're looking at. Get that ball exposed. But I would think at the high school level, it's got to be someone you're comfortable with taking it. But I mean, it's a base fundamental, 2 hands on the ball. So, okay.
Good. Thanks.
Thank you, gentlemen. I enjoyed it. Thank you.